Good evening, brothers, sisters, and gender norm resistors. It's time for some more Pirates of the Geek Vortex with me, your host, Olav, and the rest of the crew. So let's go ahead and get them on in here, shall we? All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
All right. Let me go ahead and get this transitioned over so that we have something up there. And now I can go through and get everybody's cameras set up. So how's everybody doing today?
Noisy. I don't know how it is in your part of town, but oh, you can hear the fireworks probably through my mic.
Yeah, they're getting pretty loud here too.
Pretty loud here. And illegal.
The city's got their thing going, but mine.
Bodie, lay down. Lay down.
And I kind of didn't mean to cut you off there.
Bodie.
Oh, that's something we're gonna have to grab on the next playthrough.
What's that?
Prize box that I don't think either me nor Olav knew existed.
Okay.
Hey, you were playing Stardew, I'm playing Stardew.
All right, there we go.
I swear to the gods, I am not wearing that much makeup, but the way the light is, it's making me look duper duper pale.
Yeah, it's accenting it, like, so we can tell where the makeup cuts off.
Yeah. But
It's a reverse tan.
I am not wearing, I swear. I can't wear it because all my wrinkles and shit.
All right, there we go. That's got everybody set up there. There we go. All right. So we've got all that taken care of now.
There's been local news.
Okay.
A certain worst enemy in the world of mine decided to physically assault the county board.
Why am I not surprised by this?
You should be just as equally unsurprised by the fact that the board is not doing anything to him, even though the incident's on camera. Not him throwing things physically and striking people directly. Unfortunately, the camera was on the county board chair, but there are enough witnesses and there's enough audio from the incident caught on camera or in the recording that's like, yeah. He followed it up by posting on Twitter that he was going to now go ahead and start using his Void card to buy a bunch of firearms as a result of the meeting. And this is a giant paper trail. He should be in jail by now.
Yeah, but you told me that if the other parties don't do it, then it's not going to happen. If they don't report, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah, cases of assault and stuff like that, you kind of have to press charges.
And if no one on the board does it, no matter how much anyone else does, even with the whole thing caught on camera,
Mm-hmm.
they won't even kick him off the bloody board, and that more than deserves that.
All right. Yeah, I would like to say that I'm surprised by this, but, you know, again, it's just one of those things where it's like, nah, he has always been overly emotional, overly aggressive, and just, yeah,
And like a certain other politician in the media, never faces any consequences for it. So it just keeps happening.
yeah.
Getting better.
if you don't punish bad behavior, the bad behavior is just going to keep on happening. If anything, they get emboldened by it.
Yeah.
June.
Hmm?
I have a dog here that all she does is whine.
Olive, your fan base would like you to brave the sound of fireworks and come up here.
She's probably like,
Come on.
oh, hell no.
Oh, no, she's moving. Hang on. Come here, Olive. There she goes. Come here. Olive, you come up on the bed. Come here.
It's
Come on.
loud up there.
Olive. Come on. Good girl. Daddy's love cannot compete against loud.
Nope. Yeah, I'm fighting right now with Teespring because apparently they don't want to process my order for samples of the shirts that I made last night, which is just annoying as hell. They keep telling me that, well, there was a problem with your order, or something went wrong with your order. I'm like, okay, what? Oh, we're not going to tell you that.
And you can't call them on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah, we closed our shop today, so if they can't get it done, we can.
Guess who's still working on 4th of July?
I was supposed to be, but I couldn't focus.
I know what's wrong with my lighting. I've got the blinds open in front of me.
That's accenting it?
Yeah, got too much light. And even though I warmed up my light a lot, it's the blinds in front of me. Because all y'all needed to know that.
Context! Oh, I'll leave. Here.
Okay, so our topic for tonight was one that me and Caden kind of talked about a little bit before. But on doing some research for it, I realized that it's not quite as easy as the Twitter post that Caden found.
Which one was that?
The Tom Ska one about, oh, don't be afraid of advertisers. Advertisers should be afraid of you.
Oh, no, it's never that easy.
It's not. So the topic is the idea came up as far as how much people censor themselves online these days. Like, instead of saying somebody was killed, they say that, oh, this person was unalive or something like that.
I think that's fear of the algorithm.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we're saying, is that the algorithm and we have to be advertiser friendly as compounded with other factors to just create I hate saying culture because it's not quite a culture, but basically a culture. Yeah, like a zeitgeist or a culture that's just, it's afraid to say anything too heavy. Like, we can't discuss serious topics anymore in an online forum as a community because of the fact that if we use words like murder, death, rape, kill, things like that, people will flag it or report it, and the conversation gets shut down because the entire topic gets shut down and the video can get pulled and nobody ever sees it. And that's bullshit.
So is there a specific audience that is reporting this? Or is it just people that are sitting around their house totally on IG, TikTok, or something like that? Ooh, I'm going to tell on them because they think it's a bad word.
I don't think it's even that anymore.
think anything is
it's
a
a
bad word.
mix. It's not so much. I think it's a bad word. People have started weaponizing it, so that if you disagree with them on certain topics like politics, they'll just mass report and flag the video or the post, whatever, until it gets taken down. Because if that's not their opinion, why should it be online? And it's gotten ridiculous.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is an extreme case. Those are very
Yeah,
extreme
I mean,
cases.
it's not like that's the norm, but it does happen.
It makes me wonder, like, 60 Minutes is now basically, as far as most people are concerned, a YouTube channel, not the CBS show many of us here grew up with. In fact, I think all of us grew up with 60 Minutes being in the background because our parents would just leave it on. Sorry, I had to. But, are they doing something? When I'm on the radio, I have an indecency waiver. The only things I can't get away with are saying prices on the air and graphic sexual depictions.
Now, because I had to ask you about this because there was a song that I wanted to put on, and it was a William Control song, and there was a line in there. He said, "Let's fuck, fuck, fuck till we bleed," and I thought that was too graphic because it was like.
Go ahead.
I mean, because as many times as they were saying the F word, I don't want to say that too much. Talk about censorship. I don't want anybody to come on this program and say, hey, you guys are swearing too much, and because rules and reg. So, yeah, Rasclin, I had to contact you because that might have been way too many bombs. And then, to say fuck till we bleed, that is probably way too graphic.
I think the border I use is the Tracy Lord song Father's Field, in which I won't go into the material too much right now, so call it self-censorship, but it is effectively, if it's not crossing, then it's on the border. Just fuck, fuck, fuck till we bleed, not so much. That's more generic. Like, if someone described
how you're fucking till you bled.
I don't think that's generic. I mean, that's pretty, it's not graphic, but it's not generic. But a lot of people are going to see it as graphic.
I think for that song, I could get away with it pretty easily, so...
See, my problem with what brought this up, what Caden brought up with this the other night was a post by Tom Ska who basically said, well, this whole self-censorship and stuff like that, you shouldn't be afraid of the advertisers. The advertisers should be afraid of you, which I agree with. But the problem is it isn't really the advertisers. It is the platforms overreacting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to basically go through the YouTube of it all, the first adpocalypse, as they put it, was actually back in 2016. And it was two major things went into this. One was PewDiePie doing a, hey, what can I get people on Fiverr to do? Which wound up delving deep into anti-Semitic bullshit, and he just left it in the video. That and advertisers like Coca-Cola and stuff like that found their ads being put next to basically extremist videos, actually some that were like trying to recruit for like ISIS and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, so all of a sudden it was, okay, well, we can't have the word murder, we can't have the word kill. Those words are now bad.
This is something I think gives a lot more incentive to people to do embedded advertising.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it turned out to be. So all of a sudden they started pushing more, hey, we want family-friendly content. the thing is that it wasn't, again, it was YouTube pushing their, overreacting. Then the second one came on where it was, again, two different things. One was Toy Freaks, which was basically this kid that, would open up all these different toys and kind of rate them and stuff like that. And it was, okay, now we have child exploitation. That coupled with the Logan Paul visit to Japan.
Yes, that got, oh gods.
So all of a sudden it was, okay, you have to be, you have to be extremely careful if you have children in your video at all. And you can't say the word suicide because Logan Paul showed a dead body on one of his videos. And it's like, those are two completely different things.
And then Instagram, YouTube, don't they have that qualifier saying, are you over 18? Anybody, I don't care if you're 5 years old, can click on that and say, yes, I'm over 18.
Well, It's not just that. People have been doing the reverse. They'll record their content completely with whatever they want in it, but then they go and they post it on YouTube Kids. Because YouTube Kids somehow doesn't have as heavy censorship and review as normal YouTube does.
Yeah. And that actually came around and came up in 2019 with the third adpocalypse. And that was basically people were putting up basically softcore porn with characters dressed up as Spider-Man or Elsa from Frozen and these like Walmart bought costumes basically and doing softcore porn. And because it was Elsa from Frozen, YouTube actually automatically said, oh, well, this must be for kids. That was directly their own fuck up.
But they can't admit it.
Like, over-automate, I should say.
Yeah. So all of a sudden you had more advertisers that were like, hey, you guys are really fucking up here. And of course, what happened when you have like PewDiePie and Logan Paul and stuff like that? Oh, they get a month or two that they can't advertise. And everybody else now has to get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in order for ads to be able to be put on their videos. Which just compounds the problem, because now you have fewer videos that are able to have ads put on them, so advertisers are reaching fewer and fewer people.
Well, like I said, that's gatekeeping. Well, because you're not playing by our rules, we're not going to give you any advertisement, so we're not going to show you because you guys aren't making us money.
Yeah. That's the other side of it. If you're not if you haven't reached that point, the likelihood of you getting featured in high-end searches or on their front page or anything like that is extremely slim, unless you're like there's nobody else in the search results. Actually,
Yeah, that's I think that is one of the bigger parts of censorship is, well, you guys aren't meeting our goals, our rules, so shadow ban, we don't need you right now. And I don't care if you're, one of those content creators that has, I just realized something.
What's that?
I'll be right back. You can finish the conversation. I got my appliance.
Gotcha. Okay. I look at this and, oh gods, those fireworks are distracting as hell. It's a steady cadence now. Is it that way on your end of town? I mean, I know there's like 3 different displays at least.
Not that I can tell, but then again, I am like pretty insulated from all of that. You got to remember, all my setup's all in the basement, so.
Right. Whereas I am, yeah, I have a window right here. There's that part of
I've
me
got
that's
the
like, hey,
worst of both worlds on that end. I'm in the basement, but next to a window.
Okay, much better.
okay.
But yeah, it's
Like,
like.
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
Well, I think we need to just create new advertising standards. When we were all growing up, we knew what we were getting into by the time slot and by the channel.
Right. We had prime time.
We had prime time. We had premium channels. We had cable networks.
We had late night.
Hmm?
So we had late night.
What time frame are you putting this in, Rasclin? When we were kids?
When we were kids, yeah. Like when
They still do that.
they still do that, and I think honestly, YouTube needs to take a patch from that and just gatekeep is maybe not this, but it needs. YouTube is going to have to go through member age verification and just put all the stuff that is not high enough rating behind a sign-in wall. It's just going to have to come to that eventually. Not a paywall.
That is going to require so much, so many more employees to be able to do that.
It is, and to be honest, they've been coasting along so long on. Look at Facebook. Look at YouTube's bans for copyright strikes, etc. They are coasting along on autoplay for all of this, and it's like, no, you can't do that. It's time to reinvest in people. And no crowdsourcing the work to a bunch of YouTube, customers who are just, earning brownie points in some system to try and flag that. That system is faulty for a number of reasons. You need paid employees whose employment rides on basically saying, yes, any YouTube video is automatically allowed to go into the must be 18 to watch area.
That never works. That never works. Just like you're on an alcohol site just to research alcohol. Well, are you 21 and over? Pink.
Yeah, all you have to do is How do you enforce that?
We're going to have to start seeing something along the lines of how do you sign up for some other sites?
That was supposed to be the way YouTube and YouTube Kids work. Was that YouTube would be for like 17 and up, and then YouTube Kids would be anyone who didn't reach that age requirement.
Right.
The problem being, like we just said, if you post anything that doesn't meet the requirements for like the 17 and up, like if you don't flag it as no, it's not made for kids, it'll just throw it into YouTube Kids, and it doesn't care.
Yeah.
And they need to start doing the complete opposite. You have to be reviewed by a person or be a trusted content creator who specializes in that under some sort of contract to be auto-sorted into YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
Well, they tried YouTube Red, and then they decided they wanted to get greedy with that too.
And that was the problem. They want the
that
revenue.
Was always supposed to be a money maker.
Right. YouTube Red is their answer to Netflix. It's their answer to a number of things. And I'm like, who here is actually buying videos on YouTube? Because I am not.
Definitely not.
The closest I came was buying an individual video on Amazon years ago before I stopped sending them money, which was a 10-minute episode of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe that got put out. YouTube wants to do individual purchases on top of the Red system. And to be honest, they're just going to... Google owns YouTube in the end, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Google's just going to have to get used to the fact that if they... want to do this. They want to not get fined by the FCC. They need to heavily police their YouTube kids. Makes it that you have to individually qualify for kids, and anything other than that is behind a sign-in wall. A sign-in wall with at least as much verification as, say, signing up for an MMO account.
There
Well, and then
was,
we have.
I'm sorry, Caden.
Hmm? No, I was going to say, then we have their issue with YouTube Premium now, which is their ultra advertiser platform, because that was their, hey, buy YouTube Premium, you get ad free. Now it's buy YouTube Premium, you get less ads. Buy YouTube Premium, you can get no ads for a year, and then you get ads again.
Yeah, and that's an industry-wide problem. That is an industry-wide problem, because you look at things like, Hulu did it first with, hey, you can get Hulu for a couple bucks. Yeah, you're going to see some ads. And then people started getting a lot more greedy about it. Like with Peacock streaming, they say, hey, you know what? We're going to have, you're going to pay, 15, 16 bucks a month, and you're going to have ads. Pay $22 a month, and you don't have any ads. It's like, that's why the fuck am I paying you 16 bucks to still see ads?
Stuff like this was part of why I got rid of certain services. Out of all the services I've got, if I drop anything right now, I'd probably drop Netflix, because it is probably the highest with ads out of all of them. And I'm like,
Sandman's coming back on, so.
Like, Sandman Season 2 was probably one of the few things I wanted to see, and even now, like, with Neil Gaiman, I kind of, like, don't want to see him get money at this point.
That's a whole separate topic.
It really is.
No, I find it interesting how many people are still like, oh, well, it's the advertisers. It's like, but the advertisers clearly don't have a problem with you mentioning the things that you're self-censoring.
Yeah.
Like,
well, okay. To jump off that, finish your thought, though.
for example, look at where they do advertise, where they have always advertised, and where they're still advertising. TV. You don't see a cop procedural that's like, oh no, this person has been unalived, or this person unalived themselves. No, it's not the words that are the problem, but YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all of these different sites just cannot wrap their heads around the idea that, you can't just say, hey, flag the word. If they say this word, then that means that they are showing that. And it's like, that's not the case.
You want to know how tired I am of everybody saying pew pew instead of a gun, a weapon. He got pew pewed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, why can't we say these words? I mean, I actually saw a video of a guy bragging about the type of gun that he bought, the type of bullets that he put into it, and him carrying the weapon, and that this is what he wants to buy. I flagged that, and that son of a bitch is still on TikTok. You know what? If I can't do it, neither can you.
Yeah, it's all about the specific words. And like I said, it's like, it's not even the advertisers that are like, oh no, we have a problem with these words. It's the platforms themselves that are like, hey, what's the easiest way for us to do this without employing, hundreds, if not thousands of people?
This gets to the real problem. The randomness. Now, one, I could click on a video and potentially get no ads. Randomly. It can happen. I could click on and get 1 or 2 ads. It's usually going to be 2 ads. That's just how YouTube is now. But that's the thing. It's the randomness of it. You could get anything. I have gotten, for some damn reason, probably because I was watching Debunkers, I was getting ads for Christian television. And Olav, of all people, having known me about 20-something years, knows just how badly placed that advertisement is.
Yeah.
But that is just the problem. They're not tailoring the commercial to the medium. Or to the material. Like, I get that we're not going to have, say, a Flintstone Kids commercial on someone's homemade horror flick. Fine. They should be doing a gradient level of grade of advertiser with grade of material.
Well, that's why you're talking about demographics and time slots.
Exactly.
Who are you advertising to, and what time are they going to be watching TV? And, so that reverts to the words that we can and cannot say, but yet I am watching an advertisement for ladies who are spraying their private parts, talking about tampons, showing underboob, and I'm like, whoa, hey, they just did not show that. So certain parts are getting more slack, but here we are on social media. You can't say murder, you can't say gun, and that is such a vanilla word in these days, and all of a sudden it's taboo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I worry that one day someone's going to say kill the music and the algorithm's going to take it too literally.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is because you guys don't spend a lot of time in the same areas of YouTube I do, but there are literal hundreds of videos doing movie reviews, okay? Or they'll be specifically talking about special effects in movies, and it can be the most unrealistic effect you've ever seen, and they have to specify within the video, hey, YouTube, this isn't real. It's not a real person. This person did not just detach their head and use it as a cannonball. They have to specify that because of the AI.
Yeah, because all of a sudden everybody's offended, or they're just
it's
too
not
quick
offended.
to hit the report button.
A part of the reason they use such broad words like kill, death, murder, whatever, is because they're not using actual people. They're using an algorithm. They're using AI to do it. So the algorithm has to have a broad set of terms, which is why we can get around it by using creativity. The other issue is we have the flip side, which is they want us to be advertiser friendly, but then the advertisers themselves are the exact thing that we're supposed to be avoiding in the video. I go to a video from Kentucky Ballistics or Brandon Herrera, I'll get advertisements about gun companies. I go into I don't know how many people's videos. Not only are the ads about sex toys, their sponsor is a sex toy company. But those don't get flagged because that makes people money.
Yeah, there are so many things that I do not understand in this social media. Maybe that's because I'm older and not offended by anything, as opposed to a millennial that is butthurt
If you're dragging
because
us into this, we didn't do this shit.
I think it's offended by different things. Like my parents
It's not offended. Like, that's the problem. People will use offended or triggered, which I goddamn hate that word now.
Right.
Which is bad because it's a legitimate word. It's an actual thing. But people will use that in order to push it off as a ridiculous, silly thing. And it's not people being offended. It's not people getting triggered by this random shit. It's the platforms and the companies. Like, that's what we've been saying. The platform wants as much ad revenue as possible, and the companies want to get on as many channels as possible. So it's the platforms putting out these ridiculous policies, and now we have to follow it so that we can talk about advertisers who are advertising shit that go against the very policies that made us advertiser friendly.
I know that that AI has been with us for years, but now they have advanced beyond, and now are watching what we say, watching what we post, even closer. Because if we have to, hide the word sexy, the algorithm is going to be like, don't you do that, and then block our page, report us or something like that, take us down. And why are we having a machine evolving ever so much that we can't write out certain words because the machine told us that we can't? Now, how's that for censorship? Because the machine said you can't say this?
Well, it's not the machine. It's not the machine saying that you can't say this.
For lack of a better word.
Well, no, it is a person making the choice.
Yeah.
It is a person programming that machine to say, hey, if you see or hear this word, flag it as this. So ultimately, it's not a matter of a machine doing this. This is a person that is doing this.
Yeah.
It's just they're doing the least amount of work that they need to do in order to accomplish what they think they need to accomplish.
Why do you always have to be right, Olaf?
Because we exercise critical thinking before we put these as topics.
I've dealt with this. I've dealt with this for a long time.
That's kind of why he and I balance each other out so well, is because I'm the just flat out, balls to the wall, raging, let's throw the Molotovs anarchist. And he's the level-headed, no, I've been in this world, I've dealt with it, we need to calm down.
Actually, let me check something here. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so yeah, for example, this channel has been around for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It started on May 18th of 2015. So I had this channel. I had been, I was registered.
My channel is actually older than yours.
Well, you have to remember this is also my second channel.
True.
But this channel has been monetized, lost monetization for a day during the first adpocalypse, got it back in about a week, and then lost it again when they decided, hey, now it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time.
Yeah.
I have done extensive research over that time as far as how does this actually fucking work?
That's the reason I'm not keen, like we were saying on the stream. I'm not keen on grinding to monetize my channel because it's just so fucking ridiculous as to what I need just to get considered for monetization. Not actually get monetization, just get considered.
You're making me much more happy about the way I get revenue.
Okay.
You should be.
Well, the big thing for WEF, because we're a non-profit, we don't have advertisers, we have underwriters. And what we do, it can't have a call to action. So I can't say, come on down to this car lot. And it's like, you can learn more about this car lot by going to... So I wind up going into the PBS voice. Or the NPR voice, or whatever we call it. But
not quite NPR. You get too loud for NPR.
I mean, some of their programming gets interesting. If you've ever tuned into NPR in the middle of the day.
Yes.
But yeah, so I just have a set list of rotational underwriters, and programs can get individual underwriters. For the longest time, my show was underwritten by Jet's Pizza. Surprise, surprise.
Wonder how you swung that one.
Go lay down.
And I did have to sit down with my bosses at Jets and just talk about, okay, what is good to put in this? I can't tell people to go call jets now. But, I was able to throw in a joke. And this just became a running gag, and they almost yelled at me for it, but at the end they turned out to like it. So I would go into a spiel where I'd say, Jets has deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, New York style pizza, hand tossed pizza, boiled pizza, broiled pizza, pizza on a stick. Going down a list of, absolutely ridiculous ways to serve a pizza before dovetailing back into the contact number.
I remember now how we got onto this topic when we were doing Stardew Valley. I remember now. Because somebody, I think, weren't you asked the question, if you could get a sponsor, if you could be sponsored by somebody, who would you want?
I asked you if you could get a sponsor, who would you want to sponsor your channel?
And honestly, I still got to stand with I still got to stand with Surfshark.
That's a good one.
Because
I agree with that.
Because that was the thing. It's like with Tom Scott, one of the YouTube creators that I watch. He's sponsored by Surfshark. He has been for years, and he keeps trying. I mean, he actually just went out and just flat out tried to get fired by just continually putting in the most absurd, the most, hey, here's things that you generally do not do when you're trying to sell something. It's like, mention their competition. We'll mention their competition. We'll have blood and guts and violence and all this stuff. And they're just like, yep, okay, yep. I think he said the one time that they said no to something, it wasn't because of what he put in. It was because he didn't mention their offers as often as he was supposed to.
Okay, I know who I would want, but only if I had a camera in the studio.
Well,
and who is that?
Mentos.
What?
Mentos.
I would do something absolutely ridiculous, horrifying, and something you don't do on camera, and then when it's all done, Mentos, the fresh maker.
So basically what you're saying is, if Mentos ever sponsors you, you're going to make the Aristocrats.
You win?
I'd have to get to Chicago, but yeah, I'd win.
I don't know who I would want as a sponsor. I'm boring.
Well, that's the other thing, is that, sponsorships are, they're offered. So, like, you can't always choose. Because, like, I would love to be sponsored by, like I said, Dr. Pepper 7-Up, just because, I fucking love Dr. Pepper and Venom. But also, like, I wouldn't mind being advertised by as we have to say it now, a spicy adult fun times company. Like, I fucking wouldn't mind being sponsored by them, but the content doesn't quite work with it.
Hi, Fang.
Well, if somebody was to... There's a little man. If somebody was to come up and offer me sponsorship, okay, you guys, what company would come up to me and say, hey, carry our adverts?
My knee-jerk reaction is Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Oh no, for you, you would probably get.
Don't say that grand thing again.
You'd probably get pet supply companies.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you actually probably would.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take that one.
But you also make enough commercials, you might get something from, say, the Gimbal Company, etc.
They already have enough.
I mean, that's one. Yeah, that's one that actually does a lot of advertisements, and a lot of sponsorships. Actually, it's like companies that like that do the more fresh pet foods, pet vitamins, stuff like that.
By the way, I'm just gonna say, fuck you, Mr. Cardinal. You just had to get that fucking song stuck in my head.
Do 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 I?
Oh yeah, you were bitching. Yes, wasn't it last night that about getting jingles stuck in your head?
Mm-hmm.
You need a counter jingle. It's what I do.
No, like the problem is that because of the ADHD, jingles just like bounce back and forth, and so eventually I'll get one stuck in my head. It was, what was it? J.G. Wentworth was last night's.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to talk about jingles right now. It's too early in the night, and then we're going to go to bed with that in our head. We're not talking jingles right now. Are we?
I don't know if you guys live far enough east to get the O'Reilly's auto parts.
Oh,
We
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
The one that will taunt people forever. And Olaf and I know this one well. 588.
Oh,
200-300 Empire today.
It's how I recognized other Illinoisians in Florida.
Yeah, no, we get that too.
It used to be coming out of WGN Chicago, so
So the horrible part is that I don't know if you've seen the meme with the guy singing about Jones barbecue and foot massage.
No.
Yeah, and if you ever do, that's near me. And I didn't know that until I went to a movie theater, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's in this city." I was like, "Oh, fuck."
that's
I
just
didn't
a
need to know that.
weird combination.
everyone's got something like in Champaign we had "This is it furniture where you always get a free onion," and they toss an onion to him on stage while he says the word.
He used to take a bite out of it.
He came into Minuteman recently. Expect a comeback.
June, there's a shoe by the door. Go get your shoe. This dog will just pick up a shoe and carry it around. Doesn't chew on it, does nothing except carry it around like a little stuffed teddy bear or something. And so
Teddy shoe.
A who shoe?
A teddy shoe.
A teddy shoe.
Who shoe? So that's what she's crying for. So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's a dog whining in my room.
Cannot hear.
Okay. We don't have any jingles like that show cool stuff. Of course, I don't watch TV enough to see any adverts like that, so I don't know.
I've seen you watch plenty of MASH.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a song that'll get stuck in your head forever.
Have you heard the words to that?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know they were written by a kid?
And they're talking about unaliving yourself.
Yeah.
The
It
song
was
is about-
written by a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just watch MASH, but whenever any adverts come on, I just put it on mute and do something else.
I like the fact that we've got Henry Winkler still doing ads.
He needs to make money somehow.
I mean, at some point, I feel like we should just look at the celebrities and be like, it's okay. Go rest now.
Now, some of them have to work till they die. Patrick Stewart.
He does not
Patrick
have.
Stewart wants to walk or wants to work till he dies.
Okay, yes.
Well, see, there are the problem is that there's a lot of them that a lot of celebrities that shouldn't have to, but they make the same poor decisions as everybody else. They say, hey, I've got this much money, therefore I can afford to get a mortgage for a gigantic house that I realistically can't afford. And, well, they've got mortgage payments. They're exorbitantly high mortgage payments, but they have mortgage payments, so they have to keep on working.
And sometimes it's for something even dumber. Has anybody ever wondered why Jeremy Irons was in Dungeons and Dragons?
I had my theories, but go on.
Okay, I want to hear your theory first, just to see if it's as dumb as the actual reason.
I figured he owed a favor to someone in the studio.
Nope, even dumber.
What was
So
it?
before he was in Dungeons and Dragons, he was in a little film called Aragon. So when he did,
Wait, didn't that come out after D&D?
oh yeah, you're right. It's the other way around. But yeah, when he did the first film, he decided to make one of those said really stupid real estate purchases, and he bought a castle, a full-on fucking castle.
Like a historical castle, or he had one built?
No, he bought a historic castle.
Okay, I will, as stupid as it is financially, I can respect that.
The second movie was because he had done the castle in pink coral and had to redo it because he realized that was hideous.
I was going to talk about too, you can see, and whether that's on, you can see an advert about women's bikinis that barely show anything. But again, you want to put that on another platform. Why can we see it on TV during daytime TV? But there's no, is there a time slot for social media that says, here's an advert for teeny bikinis?
That could almost work.
It won't see the problem with that is because social media is entirely online, it can be accessed anytime.
Okay, when mom and dad are watching TV and then this suntan lotion comes on and this gorgeous girl with perfect tits and super round ass with loss up her butt.
Dear God, I wish commercials look like that anymore.
I did. I saw one. I'm like, damn, I wish I looked like that. But
I'm sorry, I misheard you. Instead of floss up her butt, which I get makes sense, I thought you said gloss up her butt.
Same thing.
It was suntan lotion, so I'm pretty sure it was very glossy. Probably with sparkles.
I guarantee you that G-string probably had some gloss on it.
Yes.
And plus, because they're on the beach and they're probably playing volleyball, she probably has like a metric shit ton of body oil on her.
Yes. So it just it's just evolving into the worse and worse and worse, but we can't do it on social media. What social media can this be? I'm not part of Twitter. So the only really
So you want to know what social media you can go and see women with their tits just hanging out selling orange juice a la Eurotrip? Truth.
Why am I not surprised?
Then
I wouldn't know because I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. I just had to make the joke.
So why can't it be done on social media? If a kid can tune into the TV and see it, then why can't it be done on social media where they don't have to show their ID? There was a website that I had to do, I even forget. Here, you have to show me a clear picture of your ID. I didn't really want to do that, but I had to do that to get into this website. OnlyFans. So it's just reverting to what can kids see on TV and not have the censorship, as opposed to getting onto YouTube, IG, and again hitting that fake button. Yes, I'm over 18. What is stopping everybody, and why do they still? What is it? The FCC? You can't do that. Why are there rules for one and no rules for the other?
Well, the biggest problem is that in order to make it more than just a, hey, you promise that you promise that you're over the age of 18 or something like that. The alternative is, okay, well, you have to give us your credit card number. We're not going to charge you anything, but you have to give us your credit card number.
So they steal it out of mom's purse.
Well, at
They
that point,
could.
true, but at that point, that's a crime. That is a crime.
But if YouTube, whatever social media, if they did the CYA thing, then hey, we said it. It's not our fault that, Jimmy Q Townhouse or something said, here's my well, we told him.
Well, at
So
that
I
point,
think
it's identity theft.
Then that falls back on whomever did that.
Yeah, but the problem is the reason that they don't say, hey, you have to give us your credit card number, is people don't want to give out their credit card number. So all of a sudden, what might, whatever viewership you had is, that is going to diminish by a lot. You're going to get very few people that are going to see it as worth potentially giving out their credit card number to, they don't know who. That's
People like
why
to trust me.
companies
It's supposed to
don't
be
do it.
locked, and we're never going to use your credit card number for this, that, and the other. Okay, well, this site, they have it all encrypted, so here it is. Here's my credit card number, here's my ID number. And they're willing to do it because they get to see boobs. Just for boobs. Go look at a fucking JCPenney catalog, for Christ's sakes.
Remember back in the old days when you had to use the Sears catalog?
Yeah, when they sold houses on Sears. I'm not that old. I just read it on the news.
No, you're old when you can name the original name for Sears.
Sears Roebuck?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sears Roebuck, Montgomery Ward, Belt, Macy's, JCPenney.
When they called it Monkey Ward. Oh, okay, yeah. Old. I'm old.
Now, there is one thing that I would say as far as the idea of censorship and stuff that I have to actually agree with places like YouTube and stuff like that, is there are unfortunately a lot of people that will just use those trigger words just because they are trigger words.
Mm-hmm. You mean like our chat the other night?
Yeah.
What, did someone say a word purposely in the chat log to try and get
Oh, no.
YouTube blocked?
We had a full-on, I don't know if they were bots or just one really lonely asshole in his basement.
It was one really lonely asshole in his basement. Because he flat out said, oh, I can do this all night.
No, I said I could do it all
No,
night.
he said it. He typed it into the chat.
No, well, I was saying it to him because I was like, I could just keep blocking all night.
Yeah, he said into the chat that, oh, I can do this all night. It's like, that was the point where I'm like, all right, yep, we're just going to turn the chat off.
Yeah. We were discussing it last night. He pulled the standard schoolyard playbook where, first we throw out the accusations of, oh, are you two gay? And then came the racial slurs, and then when that didn't work, oh, you must be a pedophile, you're a groomer, you're doing shit in your Discord. And when that didn't work, we fell back and ran over to my chat before I could close it and was like, you're a Jew.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're gonna try to be offensive, at least be more creative about it.
But it's not just the offensive words that people will use. People will use the words like murder and rape and kill and stuff like that to try and get attention.
I've said it before. If we are afraid of words, or we live in an environment where we can't say certain words because of certain reasons, we can't explain the connotation and why these words hold the weight that they do. Like, there's going to be, right now, and I know this is extreme, it's extremism, but sometimes you have to use the example. If we keep going down this route, and this becomes the zeitgeist. There's legitimately going to be a generation where a child picks up a book and then asks their parents, hey, what's murder? And their parents not going to be able to answer it because they've never used the fucking word.
Well, how young is this child? Because out on the playground across the street, I hear the grubblies all the time saying, fuck you, fuck you.
Well, that's the weird part. That's the hilarious bit. Swearing has never gone anywhere. Like, we censor swearing all the time, but kids know that right off. But, like, the unalive and shit is what stuck with them. I legitimately know younger kids, like 20s and younger, who will not use those words. They use unalive and all that shit. I'm like, it's called killing or suicide. You fucking say the word.
Yeah.
You can't put weight behind a euphemism.
But then you have
We
people.
don't have.
But then you have some people that are, well, again, looking back the other night, that are like, oh no, you shouldn't censor any words. You should just complete and utter freedom of speech. And it's like, no. I understand what you're saying, but you have people that are going to argue, well, this word is, you know, is should be allowed, even though it is offensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, what I'm saying is, we don't have a national unalive hotline. We have a national suicide hotline, and we need to be able to say the word so that we can put the weight behind it. Then again, I also took mental health classes. Did you know mental health first aid was a thing?
I believe it.
It is. I've taken classes. I'm certified up until 2027. But,
They do,
Yeah.
they show it on TV.
yeah, in those classes, we legitimately had older generations, like 40s to 60s, who would come in, and when they said, okay, now, you know, if someone is thinking of suicide, do you want to talk to them about it? They're like, no, you don't even want to say the word suicide because that's going to make them attempt it. I was like, hey, you know what's going to make them try to commit? Not talking about shit.
That is so, you just don't put it behind a wall saying, well, you know, we can't talk about it, but what have you done that we can't talk about?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that just because somebody mentions suicide, if you were a suicide survivor and somebody says suicide, that's not a trigger. I don't think that's a trigger.
There were two of us who had considered, and one, like, the other one had attempted. I've never attempted. But both of us were like, look, we've had those thoughts, and we can tell you from firsthand experience, if we're thinking about it, we're thinking about it. You saying the word is not going to suddenly push us over an edge.
Passive suicidal. This is holding me too tight. Passive suicidal ideations. You think about it, but you're not going to carry out with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So say suicide. You know, if that's a trigger word, then I
We're in
really
bigger
don't
trouble than we
think-
thought.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
I'm a
there's a
suicide
difference
survivor.
between using the trigger, like trigger suicide, like there's a difference between depictions or descriptions of it, and then just saying the word.
I'm a survivor. It doesn't bother the shit out of me. I am just one person, though. Should everybody be like that? Maybe they should, because there should be less triggers in this world today. So everybody just needs to, you know, pull their big panties up, and I don't know, but that is me as an older person just saying, because my dad, he was like, you know, either get over it, swallow it, or just, you know, carry on, don't worry about it. So
I find it
that is
funny that
why-
the people who, the amount of people who call people snowflakes or sensitive
Yeah.
come from the same generation that couldn't fucking stand seeing like crop tops and underboob.
Yeah.
This leads to a thing. One of the people I blocked earlier this year, he had no problem inciting violence. He had no problem basically saying all this hateful stuff. I said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He deleted it. He says, "You don't say fuck on my page." I see the
You wanna
double
bet?
standard. It's what offends who, and this was a complete idiot from my high school. Basically, he started calling for immigrants to just be attacked because of the New Orleans attack earlier this year on January 1st, which was carried out by a guy born and raised in Texas. So, ignorance and hate, yeah. But that to him was fine, but heaven forbid you say fuck.
But if it's his page...
It's his page, but it's Facebook's owning it. It's Meta. And quite frankly, he showed up in my feed, which means it's my business now. Hi, I have friends who you are calling for the death of. Go fuck
It's
yourself.
still his page. If he doesn't hear, bad words on his page, then really he's not. His friend list is going to go very, very down.
It probably is. Like the second he put that, I got in contact with some old mutuals, and it's like, yep, we're going to see him on the news one night. That's it.
And then
Now,
fine,
I will say if somebody doesn't want certain terms and words on their page, that is their choice. It's kind of, it's kind of like, well, look back at the other night with that me and Caden were talking about. Somebody comes on saying words that we do not like being used. We do not want those on our channel. That's our decision. Yeah. Thing is you can't, instead of yelling at somebody, you tell them about it, and then you remove the comments or block the person.
And I will admit, I went a little above and beyond with how I handled it once I knew. When someone delves that far into hate, I stop caring about what offends them, because black man using a water fountain might offend them.
Well, I've always said I follow a policy of live and let live, with 2 exceptions.
Yeah, that's one of those things that it is kind of a tricky balance at times as far as, well, what do you allow and what don't you allow? Sometimes it's very easy. It's like, hey, this term has no other connotation other than to be insulting. And some, it's just like, yeah, you're it's not necessarily something that is necessarily insulting, but it is something that is just rubs you the wrong way, and you don't like the term. You don't like how people generally use the term, so you say, no, I'm not going to allow it.
Yeah. And like the comment I got in chat after the other night wasn't necessarily leave it up. It was just, you're giving them what they want. Don't engage, just ignore them and all. Like, see, the problem with that is if we ignore it and thus leave the things on our page and don't mention anything, then that stays in our chats, and that means someone can come across our channel, look at the chats, and then report that for harassment and language and all sorts of other shit. And that means that the video can get flagged, which means the channel can get tagged, which means we can get taken down because of that shit.
I don't know about that, honestly. I don't know how far YouTube goes as far as, hey, this was in the chat log.
It depends on how often and how many times it shows up. So, like, if it was once or twice, yeah, they consider that just like trolling. But if it's consistent, they'll consider it part of the community, and then they start putting it as points against the creator.
I think at least it should be a bit more to the point of not so much a, well, how often does it show up, but more of a how many people are using this. Because one person can just spam the hell out of it. It's like, look, it's one person that keeps doing this. Maybe you should take care of that. Maybe you should ban this person rather than just, trying to come after us.
Well, then they're going to say it's not fair. But
If they're
You know,
using a known offensive term, there's no, oh, but it's not fair. It's like, yeah, it is. You're the one that's using, this person is using the term repeatedly to try and specifically hurt to try and hurt a channel.
Well, that's when it becomes entitlement. And that is rampant these days. I don't like that word. Excuse me. I don't like this page. I don't like this picture. So I'm going to report it. Well, how come it wasn't reported? I don't like it. Entitlement. It should be done because they don't like it. And I do believe that that is where the term snowflake comes in. Am I wrong?
I don't remember how Snowflake got started. Oh, it got started because of Fight Club.
Yeah.
Okay. Fight Club was 100 years ago.
Well, let's not look at the fact that, as someone pointed out, Snowflake was adopted by certain manosphere, which, embraces and teaches chest-thumping masculinity and heteronormativity. Except Fight Club was written by a gay man who was very obvious on what the relationship between Tyler and the narrator was supposed to be.
The only time I started hearing snowflake was during the heavy politics that came up.
Yeah, I hate when politicians start trying to use popular slang.
What was his name? Not Tucker Carlson. It's another Fox guy. Hannity. Hannity started calling things cringe. I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if someone is out of it as Hannity can start using it, I guess I'll add it to my vocabulary now.
No, but you're censored because you are not bringing in the revenue that Sean Hannity is bringing in.
Well, nobody's going to censor you over the word cringe.
It's been used 8 million times.
Yeah,
but
It wasn't a matter of censorship. It was a matter of him trying to make use of a word that clearly does not fit his character.
Yeah.
That's just an attempt to, identify with the youths.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's trying to keep up with a certain demographic, of course he's going to use it. Let's draw those kids in. Come on.
I guess the next batch of Hitler Youth does have to come from somewhere.
Yeah, but they're never going to use that term.
It's offensive to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to happen in another term. In another way. In another
They're going to use old school terms.
Well, it's also, they're trying to weaponize terms that were made popular in areas that they want to attack. Like woke. Woke did not come from a right-wing conservative atmosphere. It came from fucking Tumblr and Reddit.
How was it used in Tumblr and Reddit? I'm not.
Okay, so woke originated out of the Matrix. It was supposed to be the scene where Neo is offered the red pill and the blue pill. That's also where we get red pilling. So woke describes you've taken the red pill, you've woken up from the Matrix, and now you can see the real world. So it was supposed to be woke was you can see that humans are humans, people should be treated equally, job inequality needs to stop, feminism, all that shit. All that great shit that we need to focus on. Then someone grabbed it, used it as an insult, and it ran and ran and ran.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people like, well, if you want to call me woke, then I'm woke. So...
Jesus, we mentioned woke conservatives and the fucking Canadian appears.
Shut up. How you guys doing? How was your 4th of July?
Still not yet to happen over here. Not yet to happen.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, it's another day. Like pretty much all holidays for me, it's just another fucking day. It's like
it's true here too. Canada Day was just another day. didn't even do anything.
Like when most of your work is doing stuff like streaming, it's like, no, you don't really take a day off. It's just like, no, you just keep on going.
That's
I
me.
mean, even when I'm not posting, I'm never taking a day off. I'm still thinking about content, what I'm going to create, how I'm going to do it, when the best time to stream is.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, Canada Day was just me sheltering my dog from fireworks. That's how I celebrated it. Preventing my dog from having a heart attack. So that was fun.
I'm gonna go give this dog another handful of CBD or melatonin. She just won't stop. We haven't even started fireworks yet, so anyway.
Why does it sound like you're roofing your dog?
Maybe she is.
I mean, in a real, in in a very real way, it's kind of what you're doing.
Benadryl is perfectly fine to give to a dog. I used to be a vet tech. We used to do it.
Just
all
gonna
the
get your
time.
dog all high so that when the fireworks happen, it won't even realize. It'll just be like so out of its mind.
My job is easier. So I don't see what the problem is.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
I just like phrasing things in the worst possible way.
I mean, that's pretty much our entire reason, Diatre.
True.
See, she already quieted down. She
Good.
heard her with Benadryl. She was like, oh.
Because she's higher than Tommy Chong.
I mean, that's not that hard anymore, considering he gave up smoking.
Okay, yeah. Hey, her mom said, here, she's like, here's a bottle of CBD treats. Give them to her. Okay. No, I didn't hear that much. That's mean.
What name?
Dear listener, that's mean. Don't give your dog drugs.
What I'm hearing is I need to give my dog drugs.
Yeah, that's the takeaway from this episode.
I mean, Olive lives with you. Isn't that pretty much the same thing?
We would like to congratulate drugs for winning the war on drugs.
I mean, to be fair, when you're doing a war on drugs by flooding certain districts with cocaine, not really a winning campaign there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Then again, we're talking about the same kind of logic that goes, hey, these guys seem really cool. Like, they just want to fight for peace in their homeland. Let's give them a bunch of guns. Nothing bad can happen when we arm the Taliban. And who are these Al-Qaeda motherfuckers? And why do they have our guns?
Yeah. So, question about tonight's topic. What were you referring to specifically, Olav, when you were talking about absurd restrictions?
The self restrictions that people are putting on themselves in for spaces like YouTube and Instagram and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like the extremes that people go to these days because of the various different adpocalypses.
Mm. I thought you were referring to censorship in media as a whole, like because I know that there's I'm sure you guys have heard the rumors, or not really even rumors, but Ready or Not is finally coming to consoles, but a lot of people are boycotting the game on consoles because it's heavily censored on consoles, to the point where they actually cut out certain parts of the game and removed all the blood and guts from the game and everything. They basically censored it to shit. And that's what's going on in the land of video games this week.
So how far does the censorship go, Gas, in Canada? Is it different from, are there more freedoms there than America, or?
Well,
I
given
don't
that we
think
have
Gas would know,
literally
because Gas is from California.
given that we have a Trailer Park Boys, which is literally a show of like shooting guns off, getting really high, and swearing constantly, I don't think there really is much censorship, to be honest. I don't really watch enough Canadian TV to really be able to answer that, but I don't think it's as heavy as it is in America. I just don't think we care.
If you want really heavy censorship, you got to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or you know, a certain country with 3.4 billion people.
Every time I would hear Yahtzee on Zero Punctuation talk about how Australia had some serious censorship problems in their video games.
Wasn't the original Phantasmagoria banned from Australia?
Mhm.
I swear to God it was.
There's a lot of games that have been banned from Australia.
Yeah.
Like
and Phantasmagoria wasn't even that violent.
That was where oh god, what game was it? It was Carmageddon.
Oh God.
That one they had to
Okay.
they had to change all the pedestrians to zombies and change the blood from red to green in order for it to be released in Australia.
But you couldn't even tell what you were running over half the time because it was so pixelated.
Meanwhile, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm wondering what GTA 6 is going to look like in Australia when it comes out. That should be interesting.
Saints Row, made right here in Champaign.
True.
That does explain why you use the purple dildo to beat people.
So in Australia, you can call everybody a cunt, but you can't show.
You can't show blood and guts.
Okay. Just needed to clarify.
Yeah, it's
Australia has what is it? How'd they describe it? Not reverse obscenity, like reverse kindness, where like the culture is basically the more rude you are to someone, the more you like them. See, I'm not an asshole. I'm just Australian.
With that level of censorship, what even is allowed in Australia? Like, have they put a ban on practically every video game, or?
Let's see. Let's look that up.
Yeah, I'm genuinely curious. Well, we can definitely call Mortal Kombat out of Australia, I'm pretty sure.
Censorship in Australia. Banned publication. That's book censorship from 1970. Internet censorship. Ooh.
Yeah, Australia wanted the entire world to conform to an Australian standard. It was, let's face it, not about to happen. My guild leader back in the old days of Burning Crusade up through Kata, she was Australian, and she had stories to tell me.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's why my doormat says, "Doorbell's fucked. Yell, oi, cunt," really loud. Until one of my clients saw it, and I'm like, oh. But that goes back to people that don't understand.
What the fuck? Wikipedia has some of the best yet weirdest written articles ever.
I believe it. This is just on the Australia censorship?
Should the Clean Feed Act be passed by Australia's federal parliament, the website of Dr. Philip Nitschke's book, The Peaceful Pill Handbook, is up for blocking. The inclusion of Nitschke's Euthanasia's book's website came to light after the government's list of would-be banned websites was leaked to WikiLeaks. The Peaceful Pill Handbook was listed on the leaked internet website blacklist, wedged in alphabetical order between the porn sites pantyass.com and pictureperversion.com.
So that begs the question. So, Australian gamers, where do they get all their games from? If almost all of them are banned, do they just import them illegally?
Well, I'm trying to find their.
Just like a black market dealer on the street from GameStop?
Probably.
They
still
don't seem to have like a game censorship.
They do get violent games there, but some, like Manhunt, I know that one got banned down there.
I mean, that was banned almost all over the place.
It really was, but
Yeah, I can just see them selling games out of the trunk of their car. Hey, hey,
You want to buy a game?
I got the goods, man. That's what I see.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
one of those
totally.
things where it's like, you have, if you know somebody in like the U.S. that can ship you a physical copy of the game, yeah, that's pretty much how you do it.
Yeah.
or in today's era of digital piracy.
That makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of in terms of censorship that I encountered recently was Ready or Not being censored to shit on console. And a lot of people on console are very confused because we've got like literally a game on console where you like run a restaurant and you have to murder the people that come into the restaurant, grind them up into food in a grinder, and then reserve them. And I'm like, so that's allowed on console, but like a game that has a little bit of blood, where you play as a
Okay,
SWAT
so-
officer, that's not allowed. That's
We have a list of games that were banned in Australia and the reasons why.
Okay.
So let me see. Ah, shit. Fucking iPhone in there. Hey, your thumb twitched. You wanted to go back, right? We have Hunter times Hunter, or Hunter x Hunter, however the fuck you say it. Nin
Based on the
Impact. Banned because of implied sexual violence involving minors. Understandable. Sympathy
Okay,
Kiss.
that makes sense.
Banned due to implied sexual violence that was visually depicted. Also makes sense. Blade Runner Enhanced Edition. Banned for interactive sexual activity involving a person who is or appears to be a child under 18 years. How'd that game even get made?
Wait,
That
hold on. What was the game?
Blade
Wait.
Runner Enhanced Edition.
It was banned for what?
Banned for interactive sexual activity involving a person who is or appears to be a child under 18.
That doesn't happen in that game. I have Blade Runner Enhanced Edition. That's weird. I know what they're talking about. They're talking about Lucy, but there is no sexual content in that game with her at all. Like, that's
Super
just...
Blood Hockey is banned. I didn't even know there was a game called Super Blood Hockey.
I think it was on the SNES.
It was released in 2017, so I doubt that.
Oh, then no, I don't know then.
Initially released with a 18 plus rating, but was later banned because of drug use related to incentives and rewards.
They put those disclaimers on TV that the kids are watching with their parents while their parents are drinking a whiskey soda. And again, there's the
South
kids-
Park, The Stick of Truth is banned.
okay,
Or
I know
was
why.
banned.
That's understandable. Have you seen all the shit in that game?
You
Come
have to dodge your parents' swinging testicles.
Yeah,
That is a
like-
stage.
Oh no, I love this. They re-released it with an 18 plus rating. It says a version was released replacing the scenes that were objectionable with a card of a koala crying humorously explaining what had been cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, Parker and Stone responded, I guess, the only way they knew how.
Saints Row 4 is banned. The Witcher 2 is banned. Banned because of sexuality and nudity in relation to incentives and rewards.
How can these kids go into a movie theater obvious children and go see, pick a dirty movie, pick a violent movie, how do they do that? There's nobody to walk in and say, hey, I'm sorry, but you're too young for this movie. That just reverts to, they have to monetize somehow. And they're, well,
I don't get this one.
by stating that disclaimer. So
What?
What is it? We don't know. We can't see what you're seeing.
Hold on. I had to read it again. I don't know if Argos is listening, but for our Warframe players, Dark Sector was banned because of high impact bloody violence, which is literally the least horrible thing on this list so far.
And gamers, I was looking up the thing about the Blade Runner getting banned in Australia, and you're right, that's not in the game, but apparently it's mentioned offhand, and that was enough to do it.
Leisure Suit Larry, magna cum laude, is banned.
The only thing I can think is that at the beginning of the game, when you go in and you're talking to Runsitter at a crime scene that was torn apart by Nexus 6's, he says the line is really stupid. He's talking about Lucy, who's a replicant that he bought, and she's like 17 or something like that, 16, 17. And he says he treats her like any other young slutty tart should be treated. That's literally the line that he says, but he doesn't actually say he fucks her or anything like that. He doesn't. It's not. It's up in the air what he's referring to.
It is heavily implied.
So
when
anyway,
somebody gamers, you have to think about it like this. When somebody says, I treat this person like any other, slutty, etc., there are a very limited number of things that they could be referring to.
I guess I just don't see that as
you don't think of somebody as slutty that's like, a nun.
I don't see that as an overly bannable offensive game compared to all the other crap that comes out.
Yeah, but this is Australia. This isn't stuff that's being made in Australia. This is...
Yeah.
Okay, now put slutty into pick a social media, and that word will get you, banned, shadow banned, or whatever. So
maybe, but not. It's not.
I don't. Given how many fucked up friends I have on Facebook that say a lot of that shit. No,
I don't think that. That's not something that saying that word won't. But it's kind of weird. Fucking
Mark Zuckerberg today posted a video on Facebook of him, and it's his actual account, of him water skiing while wearing a costume that's like all American. It's like a chicken wearing an American flag, and he's got the song playing America fuck yeah over and over and over in the background. And I left a comment and I said I said this post has been flagged by Facebook social standards. If you don't remove it, you're going to get banned. Because I'm like, you know what? Fucking, he bans everybody for everything on Facebook, and yet he's allowed to post that kind of shit. It you know what I mean? It's so redundant and stupid. He's such an idiot.
Everything. And being the owner, you can do whatever the hell you want, which is wrong.
I've seen interviews with him. I swear to God, he's an android or an idiot or something. He's probably a bit of both, but really awkward and weird, like so spaced out, like he's in his own little universe. He reminds me of Elon Musk, honestly.
I'm just gonna say.
This reminds me of the fact that I had to say today. Something I never thought I would say, but can we just stop throwing around the word autism to explain morons and assholes?
I didn't say anything about autism.
But that's the excuse everybody gives.
Yeah,
for
Zuck
Elon
said,
Musk.
"Oh, I'm autistic." Musk has said, "Oh, I'm autistic." Now they're trying to say,
I know what you're referring
Bobby
to now.
Kennedy is an idiot because he's autistic. I'm like, stop throwing the fucking word around.
Bobby
Yeah, I don't
Kennedy
even
is the one that's like, oh no, autism didn't exist when I was a kid, so how the fuck did they figure he's autistic?
I don't even think Elon Musk knows what autism means, to be honest with you.
It's just another label that he wants to put on himself because being so
Excuse
egomaniacal.
is an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another label.
Yeah.
Well, it's also because, again, it gets thrown around, and, you know, people in the community have made it a joke because, hey, if they have to live with it, they want to be able to laugh at things, right? So they'll be like, oh, it's the tism. And it's like, oh, well, this has to be a cool thing now, so I have to appropriate that so I can be cool.
It's more, I think, especially with Musk, it is a lot more of the idea of how do I explain my shitty behavior? He uses it as an excuse for all the
Oh yeah, he
all the
absolutely
mean,
uses it as an
nasty
excuse.
shit that he says.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he's also saying it because he's like, oh, well, if the kids can say, like, it's the tism, I can say it. And not only will it be an excuse, it'll help me identify with them.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't try and identify with anybody. He doesn't give a shit.
I mean,
Elon Musk does not try to identify with anybody. He is just
Musk.
yeah.
So,
the
I don't know.
fact
He
he's
tried
stood
to
on-
identify with gamers before he became Trump's little puppet.
Oh no, he tried after that too. We just call him
Failed tutorial.
that. Exactly.
And he also, I remember that. Do you remember that? I still have the screenshots of this conversation where he posted a bunch of fucking furry porn on his Twitter, and then everybody thought it was hacked. And he's like, no, I just posted it because I like this kind of art. And then one of the other furries who commented on his fucking X profile or Twitter or whatever the hell it was, said, what, do you identify as a furry? And he said, fur curious. And everybody was just like, oh my fucking god, that's just what we need in the fandom, this mental midget.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like we have the most pure fandom.
No, but we don't need to add to it. like let's make
We have
it
enough
better,
shit
not
stains.
worse.
Go over there, please.
Like over in the Vampire the Masquerade and related fields, it's like, no, fewer edgelords, please, stop being news bombs, stop drawing that kind of attention to us.
Yeah, you know, I saw an ad today for a new TV series they want to do about furry detectives, but like they didn't clarify whether it was about the furries who found the assholes in the community and turned them into the authorities.
Oh,
or
I
if
think
it
I know
was
what you're
about-
talking.
Yeah, or if it was about the investigations against the furries.
No, I think it's about the. I've seen. I know what you're talking about now because it's been shared all over Facebook. No, it's about a pedophile who was in a fursuit or something like that. It's something like that. It's something to do with.
Oh
some
yeah, I know. I
pedophile.
was like, I can think of several cases this is about, but it's the fact they're ambiguous. Like, is it about the ones who came together and was like, hey, the cops can't find this motherfucker, so let's do it ourselves? Or is it about the cops being like, oh, it's a furry, it's a freak, furries are bad?
I mean,
Yeah.
if
You
it was
can-
about,
you can
if it
pretty
was
much-
about,
You can pretty much guarantee it's going to be the latter of the two. I mean, let's face it. Think about where they want the biggest audience they can, which is going to get them the bigger audience.
Yeah.
The
Damn it,
good side of furries or the bad side of furries?
It's worse than you think. I'm already coming up with taglines for a good side show. Furry detective. This elephant will never forget.
Actually, that was a comic called Hip Blast.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. It was an offshoot of a main comic named Elephant Men.
hasn't there already been a really bad furry detective? Cough, Howard the Duck. Cough, cough.
I'm sorry. Did you mean Food Fight with Dex Dog Detective?
I was gonna say, yeah. There's worse than Howard the Duck is nothing compared to some of the.
Or Roger Rabbit?
Probably not. Yeah. Oh, Roger Rabbit was so annoying.
But you're right, food fight with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's the one where my mind went. It's like, oh yeah.
The film's so bad they stole it, gave it back, and then realized, shit, this was no. This wouldn't have worked if we had the original footage.
As an aside, Caden, I can see your monitor through your reflected in your glasses, and it looks like you have electric blue eyes.
I do.
Yeah, it is. They're lining up perfectly.
Yeah.
She can see your monitor, so don't look at porn.
Yes.
Too late, I'm playing Stardew. The entire game is porn.
Are you kidding me? Nightkind would be like, no. Here, I'm going to send you a link to something that's far better.
Yeah, probably.
Impossible. My pro porn game is on point. It is the best.
She
Keep up
is
the
one of
illusion.
us.
Keep up the illusion. Watch porn Blue Man Group. It'll make it even better.
Done that.
Okay.
What? Hold
One
on.
of my biggest
No.
regrets.
You can't just say I've done that and then just move on from the conversation.
I wasn't moving on. You just cut me off before I
Oh.
managed the explanation.
Okay.
One of my biggest regrets, and I mean this completely legitimately, is I actually managed my porn habit by turning it into something spiteful. So eventually, I went from collecting porn because of personal use to just doing it because I wanted a folder where someone can say, there can't possibly be porn of this. And I could be like, you want to fucking bet?
Oh my god.
When my
Crazy.
original hard drive, I don't know if I intentionally deleted it to like get out of the habit or what, but I had 58.6 gigs of Rule 34. You could name something and I could pull up porn of it.
So it was a Rule
And I am
34.
so pissed off that it is gone.
Man over here had all of 4chan on his computer. What the hell?
Like, people would challenge me. They'd be like, you can't find, and they'd like throw a softball. They'd be like, you can't find Cookie Monster. I'm like, yes, I can.
I don't know if that's necessarily something to be proud of, though.
So C is for Coochie, and that's good enough for him?
I would have used
I'm
that
not
space for
proud
some
of
games.
finding it. I'm not proud of finding it. I'm proud of the fact that someone could be like, oh, you can't possibly. I'm like, yes, I can. Do not try and challenge
How many people
the
came
fact.
to your house and asked?
They do it online. They'd like message me on
Oh.
Second Life and be like, you can't find this. I'm like,
You underestimate the fact that I have porn of everything on my computer.
You can't possibly
No,
find this.
one
I've
of them looked
already
good. It's
got
like,
it.
Fucking weird.
yeah, one of them was like, you legitimately can't find this. It's like, you're on Second Life. You could go into the search bar and
yeah.
find like 15
Yeah,
sims dedicated to that.
right.
What do you mean I can't find that?
Okay, I just have one question. In all the media where it's depicted, does Charlie Brown scream out good grief during climax?
Oh my.
Only 4 times.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I didn't catch your answer.
Said only 4 times.
Oh, well then.
I need to run to the bathroom, so I'll be right back.
He's not actually running to the bathroom. He's just running away.
I thought this was about censorship, not having Olam's channel censored by
No,
YouTube.
no. This is the anti-censorship stream, so we need
Oh.
to be as anti-censorship as possible.
There we. Perfect.
I mean, believe me, I can say some things that would get me sent down in a lot of venues. But it
Okay,
always
people-
depends on the venue.
I don't know if
Like,
you guys know the comic, but let's also remember the fact that one of my favorite comics, which has given me a lot of things to guide myself by, is Transmetropolitan.
Ah, okay. I'm not too familiar, but I'm familiar enough. So, I get it.
I really wish some of the things in that comic would come true, like the anti-cancer pills. That would be great. I would love that shit.
So, yep. My favorite comic, you would hate what they did with cancer.
I mean, made it a superpower? That's been done a few times.
Somethingpositive.net. They made it a musical.
Oh, I know something positive.
They decided for those of you at home, they decided to make a musical, in which bone cancer is the hero because he takes kids away from their horrible lives. There's literally a line of, "Oh, bone cancer, you're like the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus, except you're real." It is one of the most fucked up plot lines Randy ever made.
How can that be published? If cancer is going to...
See,
You okay?
the thing is, you asked, how could it be published? But the answer lies in the fact of webcomic.
I'm gonna get off early because I can't do this with the dogs. So. Okay. So yeah, I have to cut this short on my end. Do you want to hear my joke real quick?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. What do they call a statue in the Star Wars gift shop? Mannequin Skywalker.
Jesus. Okay.
Oh.
The worst dad jokes ever.
I have to go. I have to go to work, you guys.
All
right.
Have a good
So
night.
enjoy the rest of your night.
Okay.
All right.
You know, it occurs to me that George Lucas once tried to justify the bikini, but also told Carrie Fisher that she couldn't wear a bra under her costume because there is no underwear in space. Does that mean when we're watching the prequels and we see Obi-Wan and all of them doing all those impressive flips that they're just freeballing that entire time?
Yes, I think so.
That actually makes it more impressive because think of all the time you would have to put into lightsaber training to not cut off appendages.
So is
Well,
this
I
what
mean,
you were
you're-
thinking of when you were watching the movie? You're just
No,
like,
that just
I
came
want.
to me right now.
Oh,
I mean, okay, kind of, but I mean, it's not like their cocks are just out and swinging in the breeze. They have pants on.
yeah. No, that was
They're-
only.
they're
I mean,
not
I
gonna
wouldn't
be
put
like-
it
more
past
likely to
Obi-Wan
cut
to
'em
fight
off.
naked. Would you put it past Obi-Wan to fight naked?
No.
Hello there.
Old one, yes.
Old Obi-Wan? No. He's probably old and senile. He lived in the goddamn desert, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, you don't
He'd probably
usually
be like,
walk around
"Where's
naked in
my
the desert." See, somebody with pale skin. No, he's bundling up. He's making sure he's covered. He's not going to get sunburned.
Okay.
Now I need to go through and redo everybody's stuff. Okay.
Shane's drunk again.
Well, if you would stop feeding him beers when he's at work.
Oh no, this is during one of his friendship things.
Ah.
I love how he's just like passed out on the floor, and Marty comes in and she's like, "Oh my God, is he dead?" And your reaction is just like, "Watering can."
Get everything sized up again.
And the other thing I wanted to note in terms of censorships, though, is I have heard from Sony. Sony has said to Rockstar Games that if Rockstar is going to put GTA 6 on their console, it's going to have to be censored. And Sony is saying that only because Sony is trying to make their console more child-friendly. And I'm like, that's what Nintendo is for.
Yeah.
I don't know of too many people who are like 6 years old and game on a PS5. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but they're not the majority.
You would hope.
So
not.
Yeah, so I don't understand what they're doing, and more and more, if you look on, I know you guys aren't really console gamers, but if you look on Sony store more and more, you're seeing like fucking Paw Patrol and My Little Pony games and fucking Smurfs and all that shit. There's nothing like aimed at a mature adult audience, and 90% of the games coming out nowadays are like children's games, and a lot of people are getting really annoyed about it because it's like, dude, what are you doing right now? Like, what are you doing? You've always been an adult console. Heck, you had porn on your fucking console back on the PS2, and now you're fucking just putting out Paw Patrol and shit. So I don't know.
If there's a market and people are buying them, yeah, they're gonna put them out.
I understand that, but I'm pretty sure that they're not making killer sales off of Paw Patrol. I mean, I'm sure they had sales. Don't get me wrong. Is it going to outsell GTA 6? Probably not.
No, but if you are making more, if it's bringing in more money than you are spending to host it,
yeah.
Why not? Why wouldn't you have it up?
That's true. But I just hope that this is just a phase for Sony, because I know that a lot of people are going to be very angry at Sony if they force Rockstar to censor the shit out of GTA 6 just so they can have it on the store.
Yeah, that kind of censorship, yeah, that will make sure that they don't get any sales as far as that goes, honestly, because it's like, yeah, why the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's all I've really heard aside from that, is just those two things on censorships. Aside from that, like I said, I don't really think much is censored in Canada, to be honest with you. I've never really seen too many shows censored in Canada. And I know Trailer Park Boys, Jesus Christ, they get away with everything on that show. And nobody seems to care.
Yeah, it was more geared towards like the self censorship that you see on like YouTube and stuff, that more and more people have been getting away from. Like I know some news channels that were like, oh yeah, well we'll go ahead and do this because we're strictly a YouTube thing, and then it's like, you know what? No, this is fucking stupid. For some reason though, YouTube makes them. YouTube will flag it if they leave it written, like if they have like a written statement or a post that somebody made on Twitter or something. If they show the text, they'll get in trouble, but if they say the words, they're fine.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of TV, because it's like, no, if you're quoting somebody, you know, if you're specifically quoting somebody, you can say some, you know, if somebody said, hey, I'm gonna go fuck a rabbit, you can say that when you're quoting them, but you can't say it in any other sort of context.
Yeah.
So I just watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I'm gonna go fuck 2 rabbits.
Okay. I know that in terms of me, I don't give a shit about censorship on YouTube. At least on my channel, I don't. I swear like crazy on my channel. The only time I gave a shit about it was when I brought on some friends. Big mistake there. That's the first mistake I made, was bringing on friends to my stream. This was a while back when I was first starting. Okay, thanks, asshole. All right, no.
I mean, I'm sorry. You said friends, and I just figured, oh, we're telling lies now.
Okay, smartass. No, but anyway, so I brought on some friends, and I gave them, you know, the rundown. Like I said, I don't care if you swear while we're streaming. but there's certain words you can't say. So what happens? One of them says the hard N right away. So I had to end the stream and literally freaking delete that shit before YouTube flagged my account.
Yeah, that's one of those. It's just like that's.
Yeah.
Well, that's like when I put up the when I was doing the blurb and stuff earlier. Caden commented with such restraint. It's like, well, there's no point to using any offensive terms.
Well, I wasn't talking about offensive terms. I was talking about the idea of me and Rasclin stripping while running down the street.
But that wouldn't. I mean, that's just
What?
Yeah.
No. We can write offensive terms on ourselves. We'll have all bases covered.
There you go.
Oh. Okay.
See, that's the type of thumbnail that I avoid, because it's like it really doesn't add anything. It really doesn't even denote what the topic is.
It's a bad ratio of risk versus reward for getting the video out there. I get what you mean.
I tend to avoid things that are like, oh, hey, well, this is going to really catch the eye. It's like, no, if it doesn't have something specifically to do with what the live stream or video is about, then it's like, why put it on there?
Yeah.
It's like how many people will, mention Mr. Beast just so that they can put him in their thumbnail to try and draw in viewers. It's like, that's...
Well, anymore, nobody.
But no, it was bad because they said it twice. Like it wouldn't have been so bad if they had said it once. I mean, I obviously would have deleted the video regardless, but I mean, they said it twice because like the one guy says it and then the other guy says, "Oh, don't worry, YouTube, he's black, he can say N-word." I'm like, that's twice now.
Yeah, it's like, no.
You freaking idiots. It's like
one of the things
like
that
streaming with the Stooges.
One of the things that I found interesting was saw an interview that Richard Pryor had done. And he was talking about the N-word, and he's like, he used to use it in his stand-up when he was hanging out with his friends and stuff like that, up until he went to Africa. Did a bunch of shows in Africa, went to Africa, looking around and stuff, and he was there, and he's like, I finally realized something. Nobody in Africa uses that word. Nobody uses it. And he's like, it is strictly an American word, and strictly just with the purpose of being harmful to others. It's like, and that was the point where he's like, I just stopped using it altogether. He's like, it doesn't matter. It is strictly an American word. It's like they don't really use it anywhere else. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it was interesting to see his take on it, given how much he had used the word and how integral it was to his stand-up routine.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, I aside from that, I don't really try to censor my shit. I'll say like fuck whatever, like on my channel. I think it's just the only words I don't racial slurs, obviously, because I mean that's just obvious.
Yeah.
Apparently not to my friends, but to me it's obvious.
Well, it's like I told Caden earlier. It's like anything that is just there to be hurtful. It's like that's just an automatic no.
I tend to go with the lessons of George Carlin on here. When he went on Larry King Live one day, and he was asked about Andrew Dice Clay and Clay's own material. And Clay, at the time, was on a real kick going after minorities and women. Carlin said, look, comedy is about speaking truth to power, and I don't want to punch down. I'm paraphrasing him, but that was the gist of it.
No, yeah, that's the whole thing. You have to punch up. You punch down, it's not helping anything. Of course, we also have to live by Carlin's other adage, which was in an interview. Someone asked him, like, hey, what we see on stage, is that the real you? And he's like, God, no. If I was as caustic as I was on stage, I would have killed myself a long time ago.
That sounds about right. That sounds like something he's... There's a lot of offensive comedians when you think about it. I think Robin Williams, I take that back. Tim Allen, I think, was the most shocked I've ever seen, because, like, you know, I grew up with Home Improvement, and so I finally was like, oh, I'm going to watch comedy, stand-up comedy, because it's going to be just like Home Improvement. No, it's not.
It's
not
like
even close. Like,
it's like when you first see Robin Williams doing stand-up comedy, and all you're familiar with is his kid-friendly stuff, and you see him doing his giant spiel about Lorena Bobbitt cutting off and reanimating her husband's penis. You are in for a world of hurts.
There's a reason Death to Smoochie was a perfect role for Robin.
The other week, I went, last week here in town, saw Jay and Silent Bob on tour. They were at the Virginia. And, oh wow, the shit that came out of their mouths.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That day, or that moment you realize Silent Bob ain't so silent.
I mean, I'm watching the thing, I just wanted to blurt out, when do you become Bob and Silent Jay? I don't know, but...
Bob and Silent Jay.
Yeah.
That's been done.
Muse eventually gets talking. When he does talk for a while. But for the most part, it is Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've said before, when you see Kevin and Jay off stage or out of, like, off screen, it really is the personalities are switched.
Oh, so is Jay, like, more silent? So Jay's like more shy, or
Jay is very reserved. He's very
interesting,
soft-spoken. He usually doesn't say anything unless he feels it's important.
Once he gets talking, he won't stop talking about. So I walked in on my kid, and he's just honking like a duck while grabbing his dick, and it's like, okay, yeah, he's not reserved. It's just that he lets Kevin speak first, I think.
Well, he said it before, like, he has to really push himself to do Jay, because he's said, I don't do shit like that in real life. I like being quieter. I like being more approachable. He's like, Jay is just absolutely, Kevin is the only reason that you can pull that out of me.
That's interesting. Did you guys ever play their? They had a game out. I think it's on PC as well. It was an adventure game, and it was made by Kevin Smith, and it made fun of all the old Sierra and LucasArts games and everything. There was a lot of Easter eggs to old Sierra and LucasArts games in it. But Jay and Silent Bob were in it, and they were voiced by Kevin Smith and
Jason Mewes.
Yes, and they did a great job. I mean, it's a really good game. You play as Randall from Clerks in it. That's the character you play as. And honestly, it's a really good adventure game. I mean, it's all over the place though. It's like at one part you end up at a Comic-Con, and it's Randall, right, from Clerks. So he's a dick, and so he goes to the Comic-Con and he's like making fun of players, and he's like, what are you supposed to be? It's like Darth Vader. It's like, no. And I don't know, you have to, it's a lot crazier than that, obviously, but I mean, I can't really say some of the things that they say in the game because I don't need to ban Olaf's channel. But it's a pretty risque game, and I think you guys would enjoy it.
I'd have to check that out.
Yeah. And no, I love the animation style for it and everything. They make reference to at one point Randall ends up in jail and he meets Ben Throttle from Full Throttle in jail. It's like, what? Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it was just so random. But yeah, no, it's a really good game. It's old though. It's an older game. It came out early 2000s, I want to say.
So it's a contemporary of things like Penn and Teller's game with Desert Bus.
It's a bit. Okay, no, it's a lot better than that game. Come on.
I mean, contemporary time-wise,
ever.
quality.
What? Did you just say Penn and Teller's bus simulator game is the best game ever?
It is the best game ever.
Okay. This is after how many drinks?
None.
I don't know if I
you
approve
get on,
of this.
you play absolutely nothing, you leave it running for 10.5 hours, you come back, absolute fuck all has changed.
I
Except
don't know if
you
that's
can't
the greatest
do that
achievement in
because
gaming history, though. But yeah, I know I've heard of that game for sure, but I've never actually played it, and I don't think I ever want to. Though,
We should play
Olaf,
it on
I
live
dare you
stream
to
one night.
stream it on your channel.
Yeah, let's live stream Desert Bus one night.
I think we'll be. I think I'll be all right without that.
Okay, I see.
could
We can
play it
do a
while we're doing the
5.5 hour
podcast.
Stardew Valley, but Desert Bus, no.
We could play
Hey,
it
we're
while
doing
we're
something and we're entertained, and obviously
You're doing something
the
in Desert
viewers-
Bus, you're driving through the Mojave for 24.5 hours.
Yeah, not exactly. You know, not
Wait,
exactly.
so there's an
thrilling
ending to that
content.
game? I thought there wasn't an ending.
No, there is technically an ending. There's also the fact that there are points where the bus stops, and if you exit the game, you lose all progress.
Yeah, idea, Olaf. When you do your 24-hour live streams for charity, Desert Bus should be the one you should do.
I think. Yeah. Again, I think I'll pass on that. Thanks.
Aw,
Also,
come
you,
on.
you
be a
can't
sport.
actually just get up and walk away, because you do actually have to steer the bus.
Oh.
because it will veer off if you just
Yeah.
walk away.
Yeah. Not
There's
So
no
there's an
auto-
accelerator
There's
and
no
there's steering.
autopilot. That's crazy. What was their idea behind? I'm assuming you know their idea behind why they made that game, or do you?
Yeah, they made it specifically because they wanted to point out that people will buy literally anything.
Smart. They're not exactly wrong about that.
Well, no, they said, look, we sold you a game that said there is no point to this game. You don't get anything. You can't leave. There's no pausing. There's no saving. And people bought it because it said Penn and Teller on it.
I mean, given that, yeah, that's true.
And you gotta remember, Penn Jillette is an asshole, but he's got points.
In character, he's an asshole, not in real life.
Oh, no, he's an asshole out of character, too. But he's got points.
Yeah.
And if you play the adventure game portion of that game on Impossible, a character will come along and kill you and say, the game is impossible. Not very hard, impossible.
I'm thinking like that's not the worst. I mean, people have bought Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, so of course they're gonna buy his bus simulator game.
Oh, don't forget that people have brought Euro Truck Simulator for ages.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just remember just how bad a game Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is.
I streamed it with Stu on his channel, on my channel, and he had never seen the game before, so I forced him to watch it in its entirety, and we did every single ending. We kept on
Let's not
playing
forget.
it. What?
So let's not forget, people bought Custer's Revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was also a game back in, you know, you weren't expecting much from video games.
So Plumbers Don't Wear Ties got a remaster last year, and it sold on everything. It was made by oh fuck. One of those game sites ended up making it. It was a Kickstarter funded, and they remastered the entire game. They put all the pictures, because that's all that game was just pictures. They remastered it in 4K Blu-ray quality and everything, and then they added in an extras menu, and they have like the making of the game. They found the original cast, interviewed them and everything. But one of the videos in the extras menu is like an interview with Angry Video Game Nerd on helping make this game a success or something like that. And you watch the video and it's just him screaming, "Why, God? Why was this made?" It's like, why was this remake done? Why? What? It's the funniest thing ever. And I'm just like, okay, so you put that as an extras menu, just him spasming out that you guys remastered the game for a new generation of people to be disturbed by.
The only thing you could have done to piss James Rolfe off even more is make him play the original version of Castlevania 2.
Oh yeah, yeah. Isn't that the one where you can't? That game's impossible to play or to beat or whatever.
No, it's not impossible. I beat it as a kid, so it's doable. It was 1988. I was a kid with too much time on my hands. I did not get the good ending. Oh God, I beat that game 37 years ago.
There was also a game he played on his channel, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on the NES, I think it was. Yeah. And you like literally walk 2 centimeters in the game right at the beginning and you get struck by lightning and killed. And he's like, I don't think there is a way to actually physically make progress in this game. I think it's literally a game of, hi, welcome to my game. Oh, you're dead.
Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde is one of his least favorites. I don't know which he hates more, that or the original version of Castlevania 2. Now, someone did send him a fixed version of Castlevania 2, redone by fans, which he loves.
Yeah.
But no one's ever done that with Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has the patience to remake Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, that game's just I don't even know, like, is it just bad programming? Like, what was the point of that? Like, you couldn't I remember he couldn't even get past anywhere. Like, as soon as you start, you die.
UA, I mean, the problem is Jekyll has a melee attack which you have to use, but it's almost impossible to use, so you will eventually play almost more as Hyde than Jekyll.
It's so
by
stupid.
the nature of the game, and by the nature of Jekyll's shitty gameplay, and the fact that he is up against arguably the same amount of obstacles on his sane path, which he should not be. Like, Jekyll is avoiding annoyances, Hyde is going through a nightmare realm and taking down demons, so... No matter which one you are, Jekyll or Hyde, you want to keep making progress as much as you can, but it's something you have to play to understand, and maybe you should just watch Rolf's video, because that will avoid having to find the game.
I don't think I would ever want to play it, even if I did find it.
I've played some truly ridiculous games because it was the late 80s and games were cheap to rent at our local Broadway Video in Mattoon, which is long since defunct.
Yeah.
I mean, I was addicted to some games like Crystallis by SNK, yes, makers of the Neo Geo. That was an amazing game for its time on 8-bit NES. It was like, we want to make a better version of Zelda. Okay, cool. They did it.
Been going for about here about 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Indeed.
Was that Miss Doubtfire? Who was that? who just said that?
That was Caden.
Just hello me.
Hello, dear. What was that?
What, do you think you were the only one that could change their voice?
No. I was just not expecting it. No, I know you can do voices.
I really can't. It's all monotone.
Oh.
I
Sorry,
used to be able
I'm,
to. I did Schwarzenegger and Skeletor all the time.
well, I've heard your Skeletor before because you've done it on this this channel. A
Oh
few
yeah,
times.
I love doing Skeletor.
Alan Oppenheimer was. I think that's who voiced Skeletor. Wasn't
That's
it?
who voiced Skeletor. He did show up in the
Yeah.
remake series or the continuation series, but he was playing Mossman.
Okay.
I know I'll
They
never
did do
do
the
Cobra
phase-
Commander again.
Hmm?
I said I know I'll never do Cobra Commander again.
Why?
Or Starscream, for that matter.
Because I did Cobra Commander once, and to get the old 80s Cobra Commander, it is so high up in the throat in such tension, it just tears it to shit.
All right. Well, I'm thinking we should probably call it a night.
But what if I want to
Alrighty.
call it a day?
Well, that's fine. You can call it whatever you want. I'm calling
You
it.
know what? I'm going to call it a mid-afternoon tea.
There you go. See, he's turning into Mrs. Doubtfire even more.
All right. You guys want
That
to say
was
your
one of the
goodnights?
movies that influenced me when I grew up, so, you know, it's more of a compliment.
You guys want to say your good nights?
You two
Yes,
first.
please. Olaf is falling asleep.
Somebody? Anybody?
I will go first then.
Tomorrow night, Over the Edge on Community Radio for East Central Illinois, 90.1 FM, WEFT Champaign. Streaming online at new.weft.org/listen.
We promise he doesn't eat the microphone the entire show.
You can't prove that.
Are you next, Caden? Am I next? Who's going?
Do I seem to be doing an outro?
Okay, smartass. All right, well, yeah, I streamed some games tonight. Check them out on my YouTube channel, Gamers Grotto. We're going to be going in to Ready or Not, hopefully the non-censored version next week when it releases. And yeah, that's about it. Have a good night, everybody, and happy 4th of July to all of you in America.
Right.
I don't know if we'd call it happy. Please
Okay,
visit
well,
us at
maybe
Den of the
not for
Bullfox.
Caden.
Come be a family. Enjoy the den. Enjoy the vibes. Come join the 1 a.m. streams with Olav if you're on midnight on CST. We're doing Stardew and having fun fucking up our valley because that's what we do. That's about it.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and do my outro then. As always, guys, thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.
Very welcome. Take care. Have a good night.
All right. As always, thank you guys very much for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new here, don't forget to prod that subscribe button. If you want to be kept up to date of when we go live and stuff like that, make sure to ring the bell, but also check out the social media links down below. That's our Facebook page, our Twitter account, Tumblr account, Blue Sky account, and the permanent invite for our Discord server, where I try to make sure to notify you guys of when we go live and stuff like that. For example, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be back with Arkham Asylum. We are getting back into the botanical gardens and dealing with poison ivy. And then at midnight, we are going to probably be doing Stardew Valley. Depends on how Caden is feeling. If he's up for it, we'll do Stardew Valley. If not, I'll do Little Known Galaxy. All that so that you can stay tuned for more from Olav Productions. Yo!